We are on. Gentlemen, welcome to the show. How's the show treating you at Canadian and Concrete Expo here?
Amazing. We had the Concrete Pump Rodeo yesterday.
I heard that went really well, and I missed it because there was hundreds of people checking it out.
It went well, but not so much for me because I lost. But it was a great event. I think really good crowd.
Are there really any losers at the Canadian Concrete Expo?
Never.
Never.
It's the right thing to say.
That's what I'm saying. I heard it went really well, and I was regretting that I didn't get a chance to see it, but I saw the videos a little bit later on, I guess in the morning today.
Yep.
Yeah, and they turned out great. That was really good. And then we had a chance to speak to the show people, and they were like, we're going to do more of that next year, which is a great idea.
You coming back next year, Scott?
If I get the invite...
Totally.
I think anybody who watches the videos in their entirety, they'll probably notice that I was actually being heckled during my run in the rodeo.
Who was the heckler?
There's a lot of banter.
Specific heckler?
Yeah.
We have a specific hatred
I don't
going
want
to
put anybody on the hot seat here or anything.
You can just send slide a photo or something, or a handle, a social handle, who it is, right?
Yeah, something like that. No, we won't go there.
Dispatch called. You were late for your next job.
Yeah.
Eric's back on the show from CanCrete, and you brought a friend, Scott, here from, Canadian Concrete Pumper.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
And
on YouTube.
Concrete Pumping.
On YouTube.
On YouTube.
Yeah.
And then obviously we got CanCrete back here, so it's Canadian Concrete, CanCrete _equipment on IG, and then it's cancrete.ca. Email to share to get a hold of you guys.
Oh, info@cancrete.ca.
Info at CanCrete, right? And what's your official title, Scott?
In my business?
Yeah.
Typical concrete pump business owner operator. I kind of do everything. When somebody
what is a typical concrete pumper?
There's nothing typical.
That's
about
what I was about to
pumper.
say.
Nailed it.
There's nothing typical about them, right? Because you've probably seen your fair share of them, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Scott wakes up really early. He walks into chaos. It lasts all day long. Then he goes and pumps concrete. Then he comes back and deals with everybody else's problems, and then maybe he gets enough sleep.
My day is dictated usually at about 5 a.m. depending on if and how many guys call in sick or hurt. And then
People still call in sick in construction?
Today's generation, no, we won't go there either. But yeah, it happens from time to time.
Does it occasionally?
Usually on Mondays, following the weekend, it's just this weird pattern. I don't get it. I'll figure it out.
They're looking for 4-day weeks. That's
absolutely. I think it's work-life balance, right?
Yeah, that's what
it's
it
the new
is,
thing.
Right? So how's the show been for you, Eric? How's the attendance and people coming by and checking out? I know you guys have a big booth. What's the booth number again? It's 2145, right?
That's
it. In Hall 3?
Hall 2. Right by the big number 2.
Yeah, you can't miss it. That's right. You guys are, is it the biggest booth? It's probably the biggest booth.
Maybe. We call it Booth 1, remember?
Booth 1 is what it is, yeah.
Right by the entrance.
So the people that are coming in, good feedback, a lot of questions, interested in what's going on, what's new, what's happening.
Yeah, we got a beautiful booth set up in the pump, 38.5, same one that Scott used in the rodeo yesterday. So brand new, nice Kenworth, shiny rims. Everyone likes it.
My bread and butter machine back home was the same machine I run, which gives me little to zero excuse for losing the rodeo.
Oh, we're going to still bring up that touch spot, eh?
For years, probably.
He's going to be sore about it until next year when he
come.
gets a chance to redeem himself.
How long you been in the game?
I started in 1999. I got roped into pushing wheelbarrows full of concrete around.
They still make wheelbarrows like that?
Oh, we still use them a lot back
They still
then.
exist?
Now, they do. Now they have these power buggies. They have an engine on them.
They're trying to
semi-automated.
evolve them, I guess. They're trying to evolve them. It doesn't make any sense. Why don't people just
looking at
pump?
them yesterday. It's amazing what they can do with these things.
Are they here, really?
Yeah.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, they're like an anti-concrete pump. We don't talk about them.
You still want to pump all your concrete?
He's bringing it up. I'm not bringing it up.
Scott.
Well, I just wanted to find out, how has it changed? The industry changed for you in 25 years? You getting in as a young kid, and now you're working it now, listening to the young kids?
Yeah, I think the biggest challenge is the changing landscape of employment.
Meaning?
Back in the day, somebody would come in and we would interview them, and we'll get back to you. We'll decide if we want to hire you. Now the roles are reversed. It's almost like they come in and interview us, and we'll get back to us as to whether they want to work for us. And it's sad to say, but that's kind of the reality right now.
Are you guys feeling, I guess, the pinch points in the actual industry? So the end user, you guys are coming up with the products that they need to make their jobs move. Are you guys seeing that they're having some big challenges regarding the labor force, and you're designing, you're making equipment that works better for their business?
Yeah, the machines are getting better, but the labor that runs them is getting more difficult to find.
Nobody wants to do it.
Yeah, and it's weird because being a pump operator is an awesome gig when you're good at
Amazing. I would think it's like the rock star of a construction site.
Yeah,
right?
well, you are the guy that can either make everything happen or make it all stop.
It's almost like the helicopter landing on the job site. Like it just everyone parts the ways when they show up.
Yeah, and everyone gets at their phones and takes pictures because they haven't seen it
Yes,
before. It's a good gig, but yeah, we see some of the companies are shrinking not because they don't have the work, it's because they can't find the people.
So how do we attract more people getting into the industry that way? I'm sure, Scott, you've had some thoughts on that.
That was one of my initial motives for starting the YouTube channel, was just to try and get the younger generation engaged. Things like the Pump Rodeo, I think, help out. I bumped into people, World of Concrete show, this show. Young kids are like, oh yeah, I watch your channel. I want to be a pump operator when I get out of high school. So I think that is maybe given a glimmer of hope, and I hope it comes to fruition. I think we just got to think outside the box. We have to do something, because it's out West Coast BC where we are. It's dire straits right now. And the less people we have to run the equipment, it puts more pressure on the guys and gals that are already running the equipment. So it's kind of a double whammy. They get burnt out, they get ground down. So we've got to do something collectively as an industry to really put a game plan together. I think we've been talking about it for years, but I think it's time to put some action together.
How is the training for you guys? I mean, obviously you guys are coming up with new equipment and new ideas are coming up, and now you got to teach. Mm-hmm. And is that like, are the new workforce not interested in being taught the new lessons? Is that what's possibly going on?
It's just tough to get them into it. Once you get them in, they're hooked. And I think like the good thing about Scott's YouTube channel, sometimes the videos are long where someone's like, oh, it's a 7-minute long or a 20-minute long video. And they're like, they have a 7-second attention span before they flip to the next reel.
It's true.
But they never actually learn anything about pumping concrete unless they put the 10 minutes in to watch the video. Because Scott's got stuff to say. All the videos have good stuff on them. But, the kids just don't have 10 minutes because they got to get on to the next thing.
But it's a really good trade, right? So there's a lot of lessons to be taught here, and you should be absorbing this stuff. It's not a 7-second taught lesson, right? You got to take some time here.
We just need to convince the kids of that.
I'm trying to figure out how you would do that. I mean, the YouTube channel makes a lot of sense because then they'll see. But are you also showing the goods and the bads? You're totally showing the realistic every day.
I absolutely try to keep it non-biased and show what a rough day looks like, what a good day looks like, show all the scenarios that we go through to portray the real world picture of what's happening.
Yeah.
And I think that's important because concrete pumping is a great job, a great career, but the bad days, I think, are some of the most difficult days you would ever see in any trade. So you have to be prepared for that, and that's kind of what separates people that stick with the career from those that maybe aren't cut out for it. So I think being upfront, like when we interview people to train as pump operators, we throw the worst case scenario at them. We almost try and scare them away, and if they're still comfortable and they still want to give it a go after that, then we'll proceed from there.
But you guys are building equipment, so then it's problem solving.
And labor saving.
Yeah, that's what it is. So you guys are already on the mindset when you guys are start developing this R&D, going out there, getting into the workforce, you're seeing where those pain points are coming from.
Yep.
So you're understanding that we need to change this. We know that this is what it was like 10 years ago, but now we want to do it differently to help you guys on the site, right?
Correct.
And then also teach. It's not that we're trying to make it easier for the new generation of pump operators coming up the ranks here. You just want to make it safer and better and more efficient for them, right?
Yeah, and the safer and better, like that's what the machines are developing into.
Yeah.
Where like a 1977 concrete pump was a weapon, and you had to be half operator and half mechanic, and if you weren't half of each, you might not come home at the end of the day. It's different now. They are
risky.
safer. They're smarter. They and we need to teach the kids how to use the tech. They can learn the tech. That's what they're good at, right? They anything that involves anything computer, anything social media, they're all over it. If you can do that, you can run a concrete pump. You just got to have the work ethic to get up in the morning, to get to the shop, to hop in your gear, to get to the job site.
Are they thinking, well, from both of you guys, are they thinking, that's too easy of a trade? I want more of a challenge, because you guys are making it look easy, and then you're making it look very celebrity kind of status, right? But do they have that mindset where it's like, it's too easy of a job? I want more of a challenge.
I don't know that.
But that's not the truth, right?
I think that. I think the toughest part transitioning into it, especially from somebody who's coming from employment in a different sector, is the working hours. There is no set time when you're going to get off. Your days change every morning. Your job time could change. You really have to be flexible in that manner. And I think until you adapt to that, like even when I first started, I came from a 9-to-5 job working at an automotive service center.
Okay.
Right, and then coming into concrete pumping, and it's 4 o'clock. What do you mean I can't just go home now? Right, it was a tough transition, and once you embrace it, you just run with it, and I actually found that part of it quite enjoyable. It kind of added excitement and variety to each day, which might sound strange. It kind of broke up the monotony of it all. But I think that's one of the biggest hurdles for people getting into it, is just getting comfortable with that kind of all over the place schedule.
Yeah, I call it the 2 6s in a day. They didn't realize that it was 2 6s in a day. It's just a generation. It's just that. I mean, you get into construction, we all know there's 2 6s in a day, because sometimes, most of the time, you'll see both of them on the job site. Right, you'll get there before then. You'll start the job and you'll work the whole 12-hour shift, and you'll leave and it's already a 6 again. Right, so it's like there's 2 6s in a day.
When I fill out a pump ticket and I'm starting to, I look at the times like, oh yeah, I better put AM and PM or this isn't going to make sense. Really, it comes up, and that's when I kind of reflect. I'm like, wow, this is pretty wild, actually.
Well, I mean, outside of YouTube channel, I mean, you guys are also offering, or do you guys offer training and get more incentives of the kids coming in and checking it out, at least get their feet wet, right?
Yeah, so there's 2 parts to what we do. The first part is just teaching them how to use the machines that we sell. The other part's done through an association where we give safety training generic to every concrete pump. So that's just something that we offer. I learned everything the hard way. I did a presentation yesterday afternoon, and I was 9 when my dad said, hey, you can hop on the back of the pump and go back in ready mix trucks. Well, like, that's not allowed today. You can't be 9 on a job site. I could have been driven over, and that was the end of it,
of course,
right?
Yeah.
But and then at 18, I was pretty gung ho to like, Dad, I'm gonna go get my license and I want to go run that thing. And so I started pumping at 18, and then I'm like, well, I can't do this my whole life. And so I went to school, came back, and now I'm like, it wasn't fair how I had to learn, even though I learned better that way. I'm like, maybe I can just teach people instead of them having to learn the hard way. It could have been ugly. I could have hurt people. I could have hurt myself.
Yeah,
I got lucky.
You need the training, right? It's important to get the training, but it's. I still respect the idea of having someone that's young, not ready to be on the job site, but as long as you bubble wrap them a little bit, right? I get it, but I think it's almost like a tradesperson's intuition, where we are aware that there's no safety bracing here when certain stages of work is being done. So I like seeing the kids on sites. I kind of see, but they have to be protected. Right, but it's not they're there all the time. It's not like they're not employed, they're not working all the time. But that's how the kids get ready. Like, it's no different than seeing that kid at the end of the driveway and having his little toy truck being filled up with an actual excavator. Right, you just get that seed. That seed's put into them. Right, they're interested in the trade at that point.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, we started talking yesterday about what we're going to do next year for a rodeo. Like, let's change it up a bit. And they said, let's make it like a firefighter challenge. Because everyone wants to be a firefighter when they're a kid, or they want to be a police officer, right? And you see the firefighter challenges where they lay out 400 feet of hose, and they scale up the side of a building. And one of the customers came up to us, and all they do is run steel pipeline on the ground or pump concrete through. They're like, we want to have a pipeline laying competition. We're showing up. It was Dad, his 3 boys. He's like, I challenge anybody to lay 500 feet, a 4-inch line down faster than us.
That'll be totally fun.
And if we make it look like that, we'll get the kids to being interested in being concrete pumpers.
Why is it that you lost? Was it a points thing?
So I was really focused
He might not tell the truth here. I'm a little bit worried about the answer.
I'll get his version, right? And then I'll find out the truth.
So I have a history of taking my time in these events. The first ever ACPA Pump Rodeo, which actually won, there were 4 seconds left on the allowable time clock, which is 15 minutes.
Okay.
So, yeah, I kind of, you could say, milked the clock. So what they did in future events is they factored time into the score. And a good friend of mine, Mike Setner from Conforms, shout out to Mike, he mentioned he's calling it the Scott Sutherland rule. Like, if you watch hockey or not, but when Sean Avery was doing the screen in front of Marty Brodeur and they came up with the Avery rule.
Okay.
Well, this is the Scott Sutherland rule, so they factored time into it. So once again, yesterday, I took my sweet time, focused on putting together a really pretty run. And I think it was a good looking run. It was just maybe painfully slow at certain points.
And like a deer in the headlights halfway through the wall.
I had to just be
Nothing was moving. The boom stopped. His fingers were frozen. I'm like, Scott, what's happening? Like, if the pump was going, the wall's full and there's concrete all over the ground right now. And he was speechless. I put the mic up. There was no noise. There was no motion.
I was focused.
And he lost it right there. Like, he was at minute 6 out of 15. And I'm like, Scott, like,
to redo it, I would have taken a couple more penalties and just focused on being quicker. But it's all, eventually it'll all be up on my YouTube channel. I'm going to give the stuff to Eric. Maybe he'll make a pretty video of it too, and people can watch the whole thing and they can judge for themselves.
And then you're hoping that they'll see your rule.
Well, I'm hoping that they'll appreciate how clean my run was and how precise.
They still didn't give you the window, I guess, eh?
No, I mean, that's all that counts in the end.
he only had 4 penalties. The other guy had 10. So he brute force and a lot of sloppiness on the other guy got him through faster than you came out the end.
We were there practicing the day before. Hugo and I and Dan was playing around with the pump as well. And I knew it was going to be a close competition. Like Hugo was top notch. He's very good. He legitimately won and deserved to. So
did he get he got the trophy, right?
He got the big necklace.
I see him walking around like he's Flavor Flav.
It's not plastic either. Like it's heavy.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
We were at dinner last night and he didn't even wear it. I said, "What kind of champion are you? Right? You wear that every day for the next week." Very disappointing.
We thought it was going to be a shoe-in. We almost put your picture on the trophy.
No pressure.
I'm like,
that would have been.
This.
Well, that's good that you guys had a lot of fun doing that. That was amazing. It got a good turnout as well, too.
Yeah, there was free sponge balls to be had. You could tell exactly who knew what a sponge ball was and why they wanted it when they were raising their hands, because who needs an orange squishy sponge ball that makes a mess? So
once the people started rolling in, if I wasn't already nervous, there was a large crowd.
Maybe going second psyched you out a little bit because you got to watch everything that was happening out there, and Hugo just walked right into it blind and didn't even notice there was a crowd.
Now, would it be fair to do a redo today or no? That's not fair.
Is the pump still here?
Oh,
I don't know.
No,
pump's packed up and gone. I have a year to stew on this. So, yeah, that's just the way it is.
So there'll be a little a rematch, I guess, next year, huh?
I certainly hope so. We shall see.
Yeah. Scott's got his mind on other things. He's been drooling over trying to convince his brother that they need a new pump.
Yes.
So that's the reason for the conversation going on there. But then you lost. So.
Yes. So that's back to the ownership and what I do. That's being a pump company owner, is that you take out the oldest, last pump in the yard to go out every day. You never get the nice new rig all the other guys do. And it's just been far too long. I'm like, I just need something new and shiny. If it has working air conditioning, phenomenal, right? Bonus.
So what's stopping you?
You sound like Eric's sales guy Corey now. What's stopping you?
What's stopping you?
We had the conversation.
Do we want to have an amazing 2024 or not? What's stopping you?
I would say uncertainty in the economy right now. Who knows which way
I've been
it's
speaking to a
going
lot
go.
of people, man. Like this year's looking pretty good. I'm seeing a lot of lot of work. A lot of work.
I've always found with our work out west, and I think our market is a little bit less structured perhaps than out east.
Possibly.
Until we have our equipment on site pumping the concrete, I don't assume anything. Like honestly, we'll get told about 20 projects that come up, and maybe we do 5 of them, and then 10 others that we didn't hear a thing about until a week before come up. So it's a tough one. It's tough to pull the trigger, especially with cost increases over the years here, and everything's so much more expensive now. There's a lot of we're just really a little bit skittish right now, but as soon as we see those interest rates drop 0.25% or 0.5%, it's go time.
There we go.
I like that.
That sounded like a yes to me.
Yeah.
And not to get too political, but if there were a change in Ottawa, that might give us a little more confidence too. But we won't go there. That's a different podcast.
That's a different kind of
So
show.
October delivery, is that what you just said?
Yeah, that's basically what I heard. I heard a yes in October.
Is this recorded? This is on tape?
I think it is. That's a sales
He's
order.
He's going to pull the papers out of his pocket
there.
right
He's
now.
going to loop that little clip. He's just going to continuously. It's going to be his ringtone now.
I think Putzmeister America needs to sponsor the Canadian Concrete Pump YouTube channel. Everybody campaign for me.
Well, anything else you guys want to share about this show as we wrap up on the second day, and what's the forecast for the rest? I mean, outside we just shared, but for the rest of this year,
I think it's the busiest show we've had yet.
It's sure.
Like full of people. It was really good. All the booths are full. It's nice to walk around, and like the displays are good too. It's good.
And it's good. And I encourage all the tradespeople not to be skittish about walking into the booths and actually meet one of the reps there and start speaking to them, asking them questions, and check out things and kick the tires.
I was surprised at the size and magnitude of the show. I've been to World of Concrete every year since 2005. I've never been to Canadian Concrete Expo.
This is the first time?
First time. This is 5 times bigger than what I expected.
Really?
Yeah, I'm really impressed with this show. So I will be back. I'd never come out before. So
I've been to it's huge. I mean, I just get lost in there, and I find this one's a lot more intimate.
We're stuck in our little world on the West Coast. It's weird. We're in a little bubble out there, I think, sometimes.
On what, the BC or on the Vegas side?
No, BC.
BC, yeah.
Yeah, and Vegas is a 2.5-hour flight for us from BC.
Yeah.
It's easier. Toronto's a little bit longer flight, but seeing what I've seen here over the past couple of days, I'll 100% be back. Especially if there's a pump rodeo.
It will be. There will be.
Then I have to be back.
So this is two things. So you got October for the new pump, and you got next February for the pump rodeo.
And use the new pump to practice for
The pump rodeo.
the steps are already laid.
I feel like you two are in cahoots. There was a meeting before
No,
I
there
came on.
wasn't.
No,
There
it's
was
just
no
it's
exchange
so
of anything.
natural. It's obvious. That's why.
It just kind of makes sense. I think it totally kind of makes sense.
I agree with you. I'm going to get you to talk to the accountant.
Okay.
We'll team up on her, and we'll get things done.
Sounds good.
Gentlemen, thank you so much. Again, cancrete.ca at cancrete_equipment, and then also find his YouTube channel, Scott, Canadian Concrete Pumper. Lots of fun there, and also the booth at 2145.
That's it.
That's it, guys. Thanks very much. I appreciate it.
Appreciate it, Manny.
All right,
Thanks for
take
having
care,
us
guys.
on.
See ya.